We examine the similarities and differences of African societies.
First, a reminder that Africa is a continent and not one country. Africa is filled with a diversity of resources, geography, habitats, people, religions, language, traditions, social structures, and governments. The African continent was not shaped by a continental empire like Europe was with Rome or Asia was with the Mongols. It also wasn't shaped as a continent by one universal religion like Europe was with Christianity or Asia was with Islam. All of this led to a large amount of division and disunity among the African countries that allowed many outside powers to interfere and try and reshape the societies. Most sources on the subject break African societies into two types of governing structures. First are those that group themselves in what's called a stateless society. These are organized around kinship groups. Decisions get made by a council or a community or even secret societies, and they tended to be more equal. Freedom to leave the community kept tension and war away. On the other side, state-based societies used kings and hierarchies. They taxed, established military, and adopted state religions like Islam and Christianity. They ruled through the dynastic cycle and military conquest, and they grew wealthy from organized trade and building projects. Both these societies also existed in Europe and Asia. Often the state-run societies conquered the stateless societies for their resources and their land and to put people into slavery. Sources say that the African continent may have contained upwards of 60 million people. Economically, most regions thrived on agriculture, regional and local trade and markets, and ironworking. The Bantu language spread across much of the continent, giving a common structure for communication between regions. In many societies, ancestor worship was important, as many believed that the deceased controlled the land and the resources, and we were to be caretakers. There was a strong belief in the spirit world, extended family, and education of the young, which gave rise to a priestly class designed to prevent evil and guide ethics for the protection of the soul. Oral traditions and folk tales were passed down through a position called a griot. North Africa was deeply connected to the Mediterranean trade and had been since the days of ancient Egypt. It had been conquered and ruled by Greeks like Cleopatra, the Romans, the Phoenicians, the Vandals, and other groups. Its deep connection to the trade routes made it an attractive location for the spread of Islam, especially as Christian Byzantium weakened in their own conflicts and constant Berber raids. At first, Islam brought unity under the Abbasid dynasty from the Suez to Morocco. Its message of equality made conversion easy. Africa was used as a launching point to invade Christian Spain. But as Berber traders grew rich and formed a ruling class, splintered Islamic states followed, connected through faith and trade. Christianity remained in some parts of the northern continent, arriving there before the 4th century and spreading through Egypt, Ethiopia, and Nubia. Coptic Egyptian traditions remained even after the wave of Islam, as did the Christian trading kingdoms of Axum and Kush. This would all eventually center itself in the creation of an independent Ethiopia.